Hi guys, this is Iman.
This is Razia.
And welcome back to the Talkaholics podcast, episode 33. So this episode we do a lot of talking.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh god. Yeah.
I think both of us are exhausted after
Yeah,
this.
we talk a lot about pop culture, so mainly music and film.
Yeah, just a bunch of recommendations for you guys, really.
And a long-winded
telling
plot summaries, yeah. So just bear with us. I mean, they're interesting, I think.
Honestly,
but we hope you guys enjoy it. So yeah.
Bye.
So Razia, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. 'Cause I'm actually pretty excited about one of these music videos that came out recently.
Okay.
A week or 2 weeks ago. So basically, Sierra's back, and it really.
Wait, what?
Sierra.
Like Sierra, like 1 2 Step Sierra?
Yeah, like Sierra from she did stuff with Missy Elliott, like crazy.
Well, I mean, she's been releasing music
slowly.
Yeah. Like she just had what was that song? It turned out Level Up. That's what I was like.
This one? Yeah, Level Up was amazing.
Yeah,
the videos so good. But she came up with 2 new songs.
Oh.
And videos that came with it, and she's still, first of all, I know she's only in her 30s, so whatever. But she looks great, and she can still dance.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And I know she had a kid, and I think that's probably why she was gone for a while. But holy shit, holy shit! We'll watch it maybe after the podcast. But there's 2 songs that came out. One called "Greatest Love," which the music video is really just her in a lot of sexy outfits. She looks great. But the Thinking About You one is the one I really like.
Oh, okay.
Because she's in this I guess mansion, and she's dancing through it,
mm-hmm.
and it's about her just being obsessed with her one crush. It's very girly,
yeah,
and a rom-com scene almost. They make it,
yeah.
But it's really good, and it's really cute and funny, and a really good song. I realized watching those 2 videos, I went through all her old songs, that playlist just continued,
yeah,
and you go into that nostalgic,
yeah.
Of holy shit, she's made actually a lot of really cool songs back in the day, and I don't know, it's in terms of a style icon, I really looked up to her as a kid, not as much as obviously Beyonce or J-Lo or whatever,
yeah,
at the time, but she was pretty big, and so really recommend you guys listen to that stuff. But also someone who is an actor and has been known as an actor made a song recently.
Who?
Do you know Idris Elba? Isn't that?
Oh yeah. I heard about that. I didn't listen to the song.
Oh, did you watch the video?
I didn't watch the video, but a lot of people were just stick to acting.
No, he was pretty good. I think he was pretty good in that. I mean,
because he has a new show.
Yeah, where he plays the
Turn
DJ
Up Charlie or something. Is that what it's called?
He plays the DJ in that. But it's actually pretty good. The music video doesn't take itself seriously. So he's not pretending to be Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
I wish I showed you before we started the podcast.
Yeah, that probably would have been a good idea.
Can we not pause and cut this out so I can show you?
Yeah.
So you can react to it?
Yeah.
I have YouTube.
I could literally pause the recording. Okay. So.
What do you think?
We came back. I saw both videos. I think the Idris Elba one is funny. I like the fact that he chose a kid to play his role for a majority of it. He was in it, but I don't know why people thought it was bad. I think it was a good song.
It was a good song. And
I don't see why.
Where he's jamming a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know why people get mad when
people try different things.
When they want, it's you can be multiple things just because you're successful. It's don't be. You're already successful as an actor. How dare you?
Yeah.
No, you don't know what they grew up liking. Yeah. What if he wanted to be a musician?
He's not necessarily singing.
Yeah, he's just
He's half rapping, kind of.
It's more a fun, a fun summertime song.
Yeah, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Too hard. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun,
and there's a lot of different other artists in it. It's not just him.
Yeah.
Sean
Paul.
I don't think it's that serious.
Whatever. Yeah.
The Sierra music video was cute. I like it. I agree. It's very much that American, that Hollywood movie where the girl's getting ready for her date and she's really excited and trying different clothes, and it's this cute little, dancing, acting foolish because you're so excited kind of thing. It was cute. I liked it, and the song was catchy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be something I'm gonna repeat all the time, but
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was Level Up is that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that video a bajillion one time.
I don't think I've seen it.
You've never seen the music video?
No, I haven't seen it.
Good.
Really?
You want to watch that too?
Okay, maybe later.
Because the the whole like music video is just one choreography with like a bunch of girls who really know how to dance.
Ooh.
They remind me of like the girls from Justin Bieber's Sorry.
Oh
video,
yeah.
Which they're just like killing it.
Yeah.
It's a lot like that.
It's like one shot.
Yeah,
those are insane to me because I'm like, you have to be dancing the entire time and not make a mistake.
Yeah, and they're giving it like a
yeah,
you can't, like,
you can't just fit. Yeah, exactly.
You're aggressive the entire time. I don't know. I have another music like recommendation, but do you have anything that you've listened to recently that you wanna? Want to give a little shout out?
Let me see what's on my phone right now. I've been listening to a lot of throwbacks.
Nice.
Like I really like looking at because I have Apple Music.
Yeah.
So I really like looking at what playlists they recommend me. So they have like an urban throwback playlist where it's like old school like hip hop.
Yeah.
All the way from like 90s hip hop up until like early 2000s, mid 2000s hip hop. Nice. So like that's been really fun. I really like Old Town Road remix. Old Town Road.
I don't know this.
Excuse me?
You probably have to play it because I'm not good with names.
Old Town Road, the like country rap song. You haven't heard of Old Town Road by Lil Nas X?
Oh, this guy.
Yes, with Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, he recently
he made a song. He made Old Town Road, and then they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't recognize it as country.
That's what it was.
And then people were like, yeah, and then he did a remix with Billy Ray Cyrus. And he's like, Billy Ray Cyrus is country, so there you go. Yeah. And I like it. I really like the song. I'm not a country fan, but like, I like the song.
Yeah, he's been everywhere on YouTube. Like I've been seeing a lot of interviews done of him.
And then Ariana Grande came out with a new single, like
Monopoly.
Yeah, Monopoly. I like Monopoly.
I love it.
And I love that it's with her friend, and that it's like the end. Like it's just cute. Like
the way that it's like
the video. Have you seen the video?
Yeah, of course.
I love the video with like the
words.
The words flying away from them.
Just, like they're honestly fucking around. They're like really didn't try like with choreography and
everything. Like, it was nice. I liked it. It was very chill.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to that. Beyonce as always. Like I'm listening to a Beyonce Essentials album and like stuff like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been listening to. Nothing really new.
Yeah, the only other one I was gonna recommend, like I know Billie Eilish right now is like blowing.
Oh
up,
yeah,
like, crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of her like mainstream songs right now, like Bad Guy and like You Should See Me in a Crowd, like are getting a lot of attention. I like those a lot, but there's one that keeps getting like thrown to the side called Lovely.
Isn't that the one where it's like a really slow ballad?
Yeah,
type feel.
And she does it with Khaled or
that one. I really like that one over the other ones.
Like that one. Yeah, exactly.
I like that one over the other ones.
Yeah, and it's like because for the first time in a long time, it's like a really nice, sweet ballad, but it's not too romantic, like a Ed Sheeran type. Like, it's just pretty.
Yeah,
it's just a pretty song.
Yeah. And I love Khalid.
Yeah,
so
I love his voice.
There's that too.
They match really well. She's really cool. Do you know she's like, what? She's 16, 17? She's
young. She's young.
She's like a baby.
She just performed in Coachella.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
She reminds me a lot of Lorde, actually. Like when they.
What happened to Lorde?
That's a good question. Is she even?
She really fell off.
Yeah.
Like she was really like when we were in high school, right?
Yeah.
It was high school.
And I compared the two because even when Lorde started with what was her first music? The
Royals.
Yes. When she made that, she was 16, and so I always like compared the two because they're both kind of darker, like what they call like anti-pop music, which I really like both of their genres. But yeah, Lorde did fall off the map. I don't know what the hell happened to her. I find it surprising that she was friends with Taylor Swift, like that whole gang.
She was?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really.
I find them so opposite. But yeah, they like get along.
Taylor Swift has also fallen off the map, hasn't she?
Yeah. Well, because did her last album do well?
Yes.
With like the rap.
Oh wait. I didn't listen to her last album. The one before that did really well.
Yes.
I love that album.
Shake It Off.
Yeah, I love that album.
No, the one after that.
I didn't listen to it.
That was like a lot of her half rapping through stuff.
Oh, I didn't listen to it. I don't even know.
It was on the radio a lot, but that was like one or two singles. Like Shake It Off, that album, like literally
every song was great.
Was on the radio too, like it had their own music videos. So that's not so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. So
I'm not either, but that album was really good.
I'm not super upset by it. But yeah, those were my music recommendations. But I know that you watched a movie recently.
Yeah, I saw Little, which I was really anticipating because I love, first of all, Marseille Martin. Like, I love her.
Yeah.
She's on Blackish. I love Blackish. Her character on Blackish is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, and also she's really young, and she was the executive producer on this movie, which is like insane.
That's crazy.
It was just like that's one of the reasons why I was like, I really wanted to watch it.
Who directed the movie? Sorry, because I don't know.
I don't remember the name, but it was from I remember they were from Girls Trip, like the same
director,
like same I don't know if it's the same director, same producer, or something like that. I don't know.
Whatever.
It's someone from that team. But and also the people in the movie, like there's Issa Rae, there's Regina Hall. I feel so bad because I always forget her name, but she's such a good actress. So premise of the movie, I'm sure if you've seen the trailer, you know. Regina Hall is like this really mean CEO or whatever. She owns her own company. She's really mean and stuff. And like this little girl puts a curse on her and wishes she was little so she could like be mean to her.
Yeah.
And then she ends up waking up and she's back to her 13-year-old self, which is Marseille Martin. Right. And it's just so it was like it's a really good like feel good movie. You know, like it's nothing too serious. Like it's just like, you know, you shouldn't be. You need to learn how to. It's like kind of at the end of it. You need to learn. You learn something out of it, I guess, like at the end and stuff like that. But it's a really funny movie. I was like laughing when I see movies like that. Like if I don't laugh throughout the entire thing, I'm like, it was okay. So the fact that obviously there was like producers or whatever from Girls Trip, like I'm expecting it to be funny and stuff. It was so funny, and I don't know, like maybe I was laughing a lot, but like maybe if you have different sense of humor than me, maybe you won't laugh.
I was gonna
as much.
Say, like I probably would, but it's just like this movie has such like no pun intended, little hype around it. Like it's just
a lot of people don't know about it, but like for me, I know about it. And maybe it's just because I feel like it's who you it's
fan base, I think.
Yeah, it's like it's a fan base and what you surround yourself with. Because when I said like I was talking to a coworker the other day, and I was like, yeah, I saw Little the other day. It was so funny, and they were like, huh?
Yes.
And I was like, you know, like Marseille Martin, Issa Rae.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah,
you
exactly.
Know, and
I think only if
Regina
you're
Hall.
it, would you know
and they were like, huh? And I was like, you know, like Blackish. They were like, huh? And I was like, okay, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yikes! Oh my god.
Because it's like I mean,
where do you go from there?
Like you don't. I'm like, you know. And then she didn't know what us was either. So I was like, you know what, like we're just stopping this conversation.
Yeah.
But but I feel like it's like the present, like what you surround yourself with, not only the shows, like the type of media you consume, right? So like whether that be shows, whether that be like social media, like on Twitter, on Instagram, I follow a lot of like big Black like corporations or like organizations. So like Blavity for one. Do you know what Blavity is?
Mm-mm.
It's like like an organization that highlights Black entrepreneurs and like.
I think you mentioned this on a podcast before.
Does like news about certain they talk about like different small Black businesses, give them like a space for them to like showcase what they do for the community or what they're doing, what they're selling. So it's a really good platform, and it obviously talks about news in the Black community and stuff like that, like whether that be like high profile or like whatever.
Yes, yeah.
So there's Blavity, and then I follow a lot of like influencers, or not influencers, sorry, like celebrities like Yara Shahidi and stuff like that. So like I would know, like, you know what I mean? Yes. Yara Shahidi's like her co-star. So I guess like the stuff that I'm exposed to, like other people, I didn't realize like there was people who weren't exposed to that, because I think it's like it's in my face all the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's mainstream, but for some people it isn't, and it shook me. I was shooketh. I was like, how do you not know about these great, like, I'm like, did you watch Girls Trip? She's like, what's Girls Trip? I was like, oh my god, I'm going to kill you.
That's shocking, though.
And because Girls Trip was pretty big. If
you never watched it, like, that name
I was like, do you know Tiffany Haddish? She's like, who? And I was like,
okay, that's shocking. She's like, basically.
I was like, are there more of you out there?
Popular comedians out right now. Yeah.
I was like, I was shocked. I was like, you don't know anybody.
Is
and I was
young?
like,
the person you were talking to? Is she
yeah,
young?
she's a couple years younger than us.
Oh, fuck. Okay, then that's embarrassing on her part, really.
Yeah, right? I'm like, do you live under a rock? I literally said that to her. I was like, you live under a rock if you do not know any of these things. And I was like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of a reality check for me, because I was like, when we hear about like all these like amazing films that are, you know, either like they have a really good cast of like, whether it be like people of color or whatever, or it's directed by like someone really young, like executive producer, like who's really young and she's a Black girl, like all this stuff, and it makes you so happy, and you're like, wow, like, we're getting this representation.
Yes.
And then this person doesn't know about it.
And then, yeah, exactly.
And it's like, wait, what?
Yes.
And I mean, I know it's only one person.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously there's going to be more people like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, how dare you?
I know. And that's my thing. That's my thing where I get surprised around, like, since Girls Trip did so well that movies like Little, genuinely, like, not even, like, radio commercials, not even really commercials on TV. I haven't seen any posters about it. I don't even know how I know about it, but I think it's probably through social media. Again,
I knew about it social media.
I think because I'm, like, part of that maybe sheltered group where I get that on my newsfeed, but otherwise, if I didn't follow any of those people who watch stuff like that, I probably wouldn't have seen it. But yeah, I think that's the one thing that I was, like, questioning, but yeah, I definitely think that you can
it was so
good.
Funny.
If it's light,
it was so funny, and like it's okay. So definitely, like it says that it's not recommended for young viewers because there is like sexual scenes or whatever, and there's some swear words here and there, whatever. But like it is so because but at the same time, it's like it targets youth because it's about like this girl finding herself again as a 13-year-old.
Yeah, right.
So it's like. I don't know, but it's hilarious. I think it's so funny. I really recommend you to watch it. I really recommend anybody listen to this to watch it and like to support this because this girl pitched this idea when she was 10 years old.
That's nuts.
And she's what now, like 14?
That's crazy.
Or something.
So young. She's so young.
And like the fact that it took this long to come to fruition and it actually came to fruition and like the people in it are well-known actresses, you know?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And they've got like really good producers and directors, and so like it's something that should be supported and should be encouraged because like it showcases that no matter how old you are, like
or what
you can like, or what you look like, you can really, you know, do something huge like a feature film.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to give it away because it's still a relatively new movie and
right,
like,
exactly.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm glad that there's like still like movies out like that because right now I feel like everything I'm watching recently has been depressing and too serious.
Yeah.
And, like,
it was.
Yeah, I need something light.
It was really like it was really it just like lifts your spirits and then like it makes you laugh and it's like. I feel like people in the theater weren't laughing enough. I wanted to laugh more, and I couldn't because you know you feel that pressure. Like if you laugh too loud, people are like, "Okay, shut up." Like, you know. I wanted to laugh more. I was like,
I feel like I get more insecure when I'm in the theater.
Like I wanted to laugh a lot more than I actually did, and it was funny because like it's a really good like balance because there's like the adult humor in it, but then there's like the kid humor because obviously she's a 13-year-old girl. So like say for example, there's like this one scene that's not really giving anything away, but there's this one scene. Where they're she's like at the because she has to go to school, right? So because she's a 13-year-old girl, and she makes these friends with like the unpopular group, because like that's the people that like welcome her, which is like telling, about like you know, and it really showcases what people go through in elementary school. Yeah, you know, like
The basic struggles that you used to like have to go through and like care about and be like peer pressure and that kind of shit.
But she makes friends with like these group of kids, and like so they perform this dance for like this they called it Winchella.
Stop.
Anyways, but they perform this dance, and the dances are all like the current dances that these kids are doing now. So like the floss and like. The whatever this one's called the Fortnite one, all those Fortnite dances and like all this stuff, and it's like wow, like we're really in the times right now. Like this is a very current representation of kids today. And so like that was kind of refreshing. But kind of because it's like something like you recognize, or maybe it's just me working with kids. Like I see that every day. So I was like, whoa. But yeah, no, I definitely say you should watch it.
That's good. I will because. Like I said, I need to like cleanse my palate because the two movies I'm gonna mention now that I've watched and give recommendations for have been super serious and like it's the kind that like you leave the theater going, oh my god, the world sucks so much, and you're just like, oh, fuck, like it's just so heavy. So one of them that I watched is called Vice. It's the movie that got a lot of Oscar attention, and a lot of big movie stars are in this. So Christian Bale. Steve Carell, Sam Rockwell, if you watch Three Billboards, he's in that. And Amy Adams. Oh shit, there's so many more other people I'm not even mentioning. A lot of like just randos are in there too, who play smaller characters, but those are the main guys. Basically it looks at American history specifically at the time of like George Bush's reign. but not really about George Bush. It's about Dick Cheney, so his VP, his vice president at the time, who, if you know, like even a little bit about him, you know that at that time, really he was the one in power and really playing Bush as his puppet in terms of like changing American policy. And obviously, like when he was in power, that's when 9/11 happened and all this, like the war on terror really like took off. The movie does a really good job of. It's very satiric. Like the entire movie is like if you watch anything from the director before, you know he just hates American politics. Like he's an American himself, but it's like the Michael Moore kind of perspective on American history, where like at every point that he can make fun of Americans, he will and say like how demonic or like depressing something was, and how you know, Americans just watch media and consume it and they don't make change. Like at every point he like made a point to diss someone or something. Like the movie isn't really about showing both sides. No, it's about showing how shitty Dick Cheney was and how Fox News controls everybody. And
wow.
No, he was not.
He wasn't here to play.
And he's like just told a story. This like there's been a narrator throughout the entire movie telling you what you should think, essentially, about like how everything sucks. And I kind of loved it because you could feel like the anger. Like Adam McKay is the director, saying how much anger he had, like just even I think learning and researching about Dick Cheney because he was such an asshole. Because he's the one, for example, if you don't know anything about what he's done, he kind of like brought torture back into Guantanamo Bay and rewrote the policies on torture, what quantifies torture in America. So things like things called waterboarding, things like that, and like the tons of Muslims at that time that were taken in who were suspected terrorists after 9/11 that were just shipped to that prison and like tortured mercilessly. He rewrote like that entire policy and like got a lot of unhumane things done just because he's power hungry. Really, like the movie was really good at showing basically the first. I'm not really spoiling anything because this is American history. Like there's no real life. This is real life. The whole first part of the movie is really showing a part of Dick Cheney that we hadn't seen before, which is like how he got into politics. And it was pretty wholesome for the most part. Like he started as an intern, I think, young, and like they talk about like his relationship with his wife, where really he had to come over alcoholism and like really get his shit together. And he had 2 daughters, one of which is a lesbian. So they showed the part of him that was like also accepting of that community. They flip it at the end to show like he's a traitor ultimately. Like well, his family is.
Okay.
But but so they don't give him like a sweetheart. Like cover it all. And there's a part where like halfway through the movie they get to the point where he's tried to run for office a bunch of times as a VP for previous presidents, and it never worked. And they show him at what would be his retirement home with his wife, with his kids, and they're out there fishing for the summer. And like literally the credits start rolling as like a joke to be like, this is what his life would have been. He would have been a normal politician wannabe, really. And this would have been it. And then what happens is that the credits stop as soon as his phone starts ringing, and it's George Bush on the line saying, like, I want you to be VP.
Yeah.
And his wife, before that scene, makes him promise, like, you're not getting back into politics. You're going to stick with me. Like, I'm making money writing books. You're making money. I think he owns he's the CEO of some finance company. And we're fine. We're well off. Don't get back into it because that's just a headache I don't want to have to deal with anymore. And after that call, you can see him thinking because, like, he's realizing, okay, George W. Bush doesn't know what he's doing. Like, I have the opportunity here to make more power moves with him letting me do that, and this will never come up again. Like, you could, there's a good scene where they're in. What happens is like, so he takes the call. He's like in this washroom, like brushing his teeth, like aggressively. Cause he's like thinking, and like you can see the Amy Adams character who plays his wife, like going, "You're gonna do it. Like you're gonna do it." And then there's like a comedic scene right after that where the narrator's saying like, "We have no idea at this time what Dick Cheney was actually thinking when he was considering taking on the VP role, but we can say like we can make up like basically like a Shakespearean example of what that intense conversation would have been like with his wife, and then they literally do it.
Oh my god!
It's them two in bed, and his just like Amy Adams like, "Thou must not take on this role because my love you promised." Like they did it in like actual Shakespearean like quotes. Like it was just pretty funny, both of them going back and forth, and it was pretty good. Like they do a lot of pockets of moments like that, of just taking it out of it and just making it like show it for how dumb
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he basically went back on his word with his wife because he was power hungry. He made a lot of decisions, and they made it clear like how much information he had versus any other VP in history, because like everybody just nodded and went, okay, yeah, we'll tell you about all this FBI secret nonsense that we have going on.
Yeah.
And then he had influence, right? Because he had someone like George W. Bush was like, they made it clear that he was young when he was in power and really didn't have a lot of education or experience. He got in because his dad, remember, was in power before him, and so he kind of got leeway through. And so Dick Cheney took advantage of that. He was like, okay, I'm part of every single meeting. I'm gonna get all the meeting notes, all the the agenda for everything that's gonna come through, policy wise, whatever. And I was really impressed. I love Christian Bale. Anything that he's acted in, he's a really versatile actor.
Yeah.
And like amazing props to like the people who did the special effects makeup for him. Did you see him as Dick Cheney?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, first of all, we know Christian Bale's a pretty handsome guy. And
they made him look ugly.
Dick Cheney is like the grossest looking. So Christian Bale, we'll do Vice. They changed him to look just like him. Let's take this picture.
Oh, I did see this.
Tell me that that's not terrifying.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? That looks just
They don't
like
look
Dick
alike.
Cheney. No, they don't. And like, even like his hands, like I don't know how they did, or like if he gained weight for the role, but like that's like
whoa,
old Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Right there. Like disgusting looking. Oh my god! Like look, this is like a side by like that's the same person. That's the same person.
Wow.
So amazing. Like they did a good job of like even like stuff that Dick Cheney was like known for, like small controversies. They like very quickly hit on a lot of points. Like Dick Cheney was known for like he was really like he's pro guns, obviously, not surprising there.
Yeah.
And there's like the story that was in the news when he was VP where he was out on the range shooting ducks or whatever. You know when they fly and they like and like by accident shot his friend in the ear. Like, and
oh my
then
god,
it was on the news and everything, and like they did a good like montage of like the narrator in the back was like, so Dick Cheney accidentally shot his friend in the ear, but at no point ever did he apologize for it. But in fact, the guy who got shot apologized on TV because Dick Cheney's wife were like such a power couple at the time that they were scared that they weren't going to visit his farm and his ranch to shoot again and like be a part of that community.
Oh
so he was the guy who got shot.
Apologize for what?
He's just like we're so sorry that the incident has brought so much attention to the Dick Cheney family that we hope that you feel welcome and you can come back anytime. And it was just like do you know what I'm saying? Like
wow,
a lot of people who are like on hands and knees for these people.
Yeah,
it's so gross. Like oh my god, it's a really really dark. It's like really good dark comedy. Like it makes you laugh at a lot of points because there's just so much bad shit happening. Like they have to do that. And the acting obviously phenomenal. Like Christian Bale, I don't expect anything less from him. The guy who plays George W. Bush looks the part. He does like the George W. Bush that weird eyebrow thing.
Yeah.
Look, he looks sad all the time. I love that. It was so good. Really recommend that you watch it. But they can get a little graphic because they just want to show you like the kind of stuff he let happen. So yeah, I definitely left that movie going, I hate everything.
Well, yeah.
And another not so fun movie I watched is called Can You Forgive Me, which also got like Oscar buzz. I watched it only because Melissa McCarthy. Right? She like normally plays like comedic roles. Yeah. She does a lot of physical comedy of just like falling over and whatever. Like she does a lot of that. It's her first time I've really seen her in like a dramatic role. Like it's a very somber, serious movie about. It's based on a true story about this lady who, I think is in her 50s. She is a writer, kind of famous, writes biographies of other famous writers. And she basically hits rock bottom where she loses her job. She's a really shitty person generally. Like she's not social. She like has had many failed relationships. And she basically is like doing anything for money. And she realizes what she can do is write fake, like basically create fake letters from old dead writers and sell them to bookstores to make money off of them.
Oh.
Like she like writes in their voices because she's done biographies before, so she knows some things about people's lives. And like you see her going to libraries and like finding old letters and like older archived books and pulling them out and then like adding onto that letter to make it more, because like if the letter's more dramatic or more about something gossipy, let's say, then it'll sell for more. Yeah. So she like does this to get like good money, off of like fake letters and stuff, and obviously it gets her into a bit of trouble, and she meets people along the way who help her sell more letters and stuff, and like this whole side business she makes. Like while being like a really shitty person, it's like really funny. It's really good. Like Melissa McCarthy, like I don't think her acting stood out as much as like the story itself did, because it's something that really happened. Like a real writer did this like once upon a time, and she gets in trouble for it. And like it's nice because like you imagine like with doing something that criminal, like that there's a character arc that happens where she like feels remorseful or whatever. It doesn't really happen that way. It doesn't really. She just doesn't care. And she does. Okay, I don't want to spoil too much of it. Oh, okay. Not that I don't know if you're gonna watch it, but at the very, it really takes like, she doesn't give a shit until like the very last moment of the movie, where she realizes. Okay, basically I'll spoil it. But she's at a hearing that could basically sentence her to a few years in prison because she's like been impersonating people, right? And she stands up and she's like talking to the judge, and she's like, "Look, I don't regret anything that I did. Look, I was trying to like pay for rent. I was trying to take care of her cat that she had. Her cat. Yeah, she has just a cat. And like, because the cat was sick and whatever. And she's like, I just needed to pay for her like his medicine, whatever. I just needed to do something. I don't like people actually like the letters that I ended up writing, even though they didn't know it was me. Like I was making money off of my writing still technically." I'm fine with that. But what I do regret is that she was like, I realized I need to be more vulnerable and be like, not a nicer person, but like, it would have been better if I didn't take the easy way out and like actually wrote books in my voice and like stop hiding behind other people's lives of stories of other people's lives and start writing in my voice about my life. Yeah. So what she ends up doing is she ends up writing a book about the story of her selling. Wow. Selling all these letters. She gets like, I think she gets something about like 5 years probation or something, and she does like community service and whatever. Wow, this is like a white woman empowerment story. This is really what it is. A little bit. Wow, this is the story of white privilege, I'll tell you that. It's a little bit, to be fair. But it's funny because like, literally until the very last second, she doesn't realize she just didn't try in life. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because she got it because she was able to do it the easy way. Yeah, she did. No, she did. And then she took the easy way again. And she took the... Fair enough. by writing another book. But like, about her herself. Infidelity. Yes. Infidelity? She made... Well... Would it be infidelity? No, isn't that cheating? Yeah, that's cheating. That's okay. The wrong word. I'm sorry. It's okay. But... Basically, but it was... But it's just so funny. That's really funny. What I like about the story is that she... At no point does she feel, I need to be a better person. I need to be nicer to people. I need to, like, you know... Like, I like that movie was honest about who that person was and was just a continually shitty person, and that's why she, like, never really settled down with anybody. Why she never had... Really, yeah. Because she, like, was such an outcast. She had, like, one friend. Like, I and like her cat. That. Yes, and her cat. That's but really funny. I really like that the story, like, stayed true to that and didn't feel like I had to match that fairy tale story of, like, I'm going to change and turn a new leaf and become this. No. Like, she really just benefited off of, like, being a shitty person as long as she could. That's really interesting. It's a really good movie. Again, it's a bit slow and, like, not morbid, but it's sad. Yeah. So you kind of have to, like, be in the mood for it. Which is why I'm, like, happy to know that there's a movie called Little and I can watch that right now. Yeah. And, like, it needs something light, for sure. Well, I saw a movie the other day. It's a Bollywood movie. Oh, did you? But okay, so but it's different, okay? Because so I was on Netflix, you know, just perusing, seeing what I want to watch. On Netflix? Yeah. Okay, yes. So I saw this movie, and the first thing that stood out to me was, do you know Bollywood actors and actresses? Like the main ones, not like the. Do you know Sonam Kapoor? Yes, yeah, I know her face. Yeah, so that's the main thing that stood out to me, because when I see an actor and actress that I recognize, I'm like, ooh, you know, like I want to see, you know, what they've done recently. Yes. This is a recent movie. This just came out 2019, so like this year. So,
and it wasn't relatively long. It's only 2 hours, so I was like, oh, okay.
For a Bollywood movie, it's short.
That's short, yeah. So I was like, okay, interesting. I'm not gonna try to say the name because I'm going to butcher it. But basically, this is the description on Netflix. Okay. As her family seeks to marry her off and a hopeful writer pursues her, a small-town woman struggles to reveal the long-hidden truth about who she loves. What does that sound like to you?
A typical Bollywood movie.
Right? So I was like, okay. But, I like my favorite type of Bollywood movies are, like, the old school ones, like, that do a lot of, like...
social commentary that happened a lot more in the older ones, if that's what you're asking about.
Well, there's that, but I like the old versions too. Like when it's not as westernized. Okay. I like older version of Bollywood.
Like the Village and stuff. You mean? Yeah.
Not just the Village. It can still happen in the city and stuff, but I feel like I don't know. Anyway, so I just like the older versions. I don't know. But so this one, it looked like I was like, okay, let me just see how it goes. I could always just turn it off if I don't like it. Yeah. So I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, so as you see, like there's this girl. And the opening scene is, like, her at a wedding, someone's wedding. Okay. And then this other girl comes up to her and goes, like, hey, like, my name is so-and-so. Like, my brother over there is really interested in you. Like, you see, he's very handsome. And she's, like, listing off all the things that's good about him. And, like, and then that girl, Sonam Kapoor, she kind of just smiles, looks at him, and then, like, the scene's done. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you just fast forward and you're, like... Fast forward, you're seeing this life of this other dude. He's like this playwright. He's really bad. His dad is a really famous like writer for like movies and stuff. Okay. And he's I guess trying to follow in his footsteps, but like he's not really good at it. Mm-hmm. So he's written this new play about like love, but like modern love. So like currently now love is like all about like on an app, like you match with someone and then like you maybe fall in love, whatever. Mm-hmm. So he's written this play, whatever, and it's not that great. And this girl, like, so Sonam Kapoor, she, like, walks into the thing, and she's, like, she looks like she's hiding from someone. She sits down. He's like, oh, like, hi, like, who are you? Like, because they're just rehearsing. Mm. And she's just watching. She's like, wow, this play isn't good. And he's like, oh. Oh my God. It's like, okay. He's like, and she's like, oh, sorry, like, are you a part of it? He's like, no, I'm just watching. Mm. He's like, why don't you like it? And she's like, and it's, like, the scene where they're, like, the people, like, rehearsing, they're, like, the app, they're like, swipe this, and it's like really tacky and like it's supposed to be like funny. It's supposed to be like, oh, this is like a social commentary on how stupid this looks, but it just looks really like tacky.
Corny, yeah.
And she's like, obviously the person who wrote this play doesn't know what true love is.
Ooh.
And he's like, oh. And she's like, yeah, there's just like no feeling. And he's like, oh, well, okay. And then after that, next thing you know, like there's people banging on the door, like. And her name is, I think, Sweetie or something in the movie. And they're like, Sweetie, like, where are you? And she's like, oh, I have to go. He's like, okay, come. And, like, very Bollywood as, like, just run away with a stranger.
Yes, yeah.
So they, like, run out and they're in the city. So she's like, where's the train? Where's the subway or whatever? And he's like, okay, follow me. And they're, like, running. And then they, like, get into the subway. And then this dude who's following her gets in as well. And then... he's, like, about to come for her, and then the guy's like, no, go, I'll block him off. And then so she ends up running out of the subway, like, the cart, and then the guy's, like, still in there with him, and then after that, they just, like, this really, like, standoff where they just stare at each other, and they, like, she slowly, like, disappears. Okay. And then, anyway, so basically, he finds out because... something happens. They end up going to the police station. He finds out that guy is her brother. Okay. So this whole time he's thinking like this is like some abusive, like maybe it's like a boyfriend or something, or someone's just coming after her. But no, it's just her brother. Right. And so he's just like, okay. And then so basically he wants to help her because he sees like, oh, she's in trouble. And she's back home. He knows she's back home because his brother finds out whatever she's back home. So he finds out where her address is. And then he comes up with this whole scheme where he's going to bring this play to a small town because she lives in a small town in Punjab. Right. And he's going to bring this play to the small town so he can see her and he can try to help her or whatever. And then so he goes and he starts like this acting club or whatever there. And then when he basically finds out where she lives and all this stuff. And so while that's happening on her end, her brother like reveals that to her father, like, you can't let her out the house because she's been going to the city to meet that Muslim boy at the, like, so they're Hindu, right? So he's like, to meet that Muslim boy that she met at that wedding, and she's been sneaking around with him. It's gonna ruin our family name. She can't marry a Muslim boy. All this stuff. So you're like, oh, okay, so this is like a religious thing. So like, there's some stigma going on. This is what the issue is gonna be. She's gonna want to be with this Muslim guy, and so this is what you're thinking about the movie this whole time. And then after that, this dude, the playwright, he ends up hearing, because he sneaks over to her house and whatever, and her dad is this really big like garment factory. Like, he owns a big garment factory in the town, so he's really well known, really wealthy, and his passion was cooking.
Okay.
But he was never allowed to because his mom always said that's for girls. Like, don't do that. Right. So at nighttime he'll like go into the kitchen and cook stuff. So when that guy sneaks to her house, he sees him. He's like, "Hey, chef," not knowing that's her dad.
Right.
And he's like, "Can you give this letter to Sweetie, like whatever?" And he's like, "Okay." And then he goes and he's like, "I met the Muslim boy." So he thinks that's the Muslim boy. Yeah. And then so now this playwright, whenever he like interacts with their family and stuff, like, he's hearing about this Muslim boy that she's in love with, and that they're like, "Oh, you're the Muslim boy that she's in love with." Mm-hmm. So he's thinking, "Oh, she's in love with me."
Right.
Okay? Right. So, right?
It's getting complicated.
So then, basically what happens is that he ends up, like, their family likes him. Mm-hmm. Because, like, they're coming to his acting club. He's a really nice person, all this stuff. So then, he ends up going to, so, like, the grandma, so she lives with them. So he ends up going to her birthday party at their house, and he gets really drunk, and he's like, "Sweet," and she, like, runs up to her room for some reason. I don't remember. She's just, like, doesn't want to be around people. So he goes, "Sweetie, like, I heard that, I didn't know you were feeling it too, but, like, I feel it, and you love me, I love you, like, we're gonna do this," and all this stuff. And she's like, "Nah, B." Yeah, like, she's like, "I don't love you." And so this is like, you're thinking, oh, she's gonna tell him, like, "You're not the Muslim boy. The Muslim boy is the dude I've been seeing in the city." Right. And she goes like, "Why is everybody thinks I have to get married? Everybody thinks I have to be like this and this and this. I have to follow this, like, I don't know, like, factory line of things, like, and all this stuff." She's like, "No, I don't like boys. I like girls." Yeah, right. So, and then he goes like, what? He stares at her, and then he starts to laugh. Oh my god. He starts like laughing, and she's just looking at him like. And he's just laughing, and that's how the scene ends. And I was like, oh! I was like, well, this movie has taken a turn.
Yeah, yes.
So now, this is so interesting, because now you find out that she's a lesbian. And now, this is, like, surprising, because you don't see this a lot in, like, Bollywood movies. Like, it's very rare that they'll touch up based on this topic, because it's still very taboo. And especially in a lot of smaller communities, not more like the cities. So I was like, this is going to be interesting. I was like, this movie has become a little bit more dynamic. Yeah. Yeah. So we're watching, and, like, now it has gotten to this point where the guy, he's like, oh, she doesn't like, and it's very, like, it kind of portrays a lot of what a lot of, like, young guys would probably do when they find out this girl's not interested in them, because she's not interested in guys. They're like, oh, ew, like, she likes girls, whatever. He's like, I'm just gonna give up on everything. Like, I'm not gonna continue this. It's not like he's made a commitment to these people who are trying to learn, acting and stuff. He's like, nope, we're gonna pack up. We're going back to the city. That's that. And then he kind of comes through this realization, like, she's still in trouble, like, you know what I mean? And, like, she still needs help, and, like, she's my friend. Mm-hmm. Like, over everything, she was my friend to begin with. Yeah. So he's like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry I laughed at you. Like, you're my friend. It was a surprise kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like he has to overcome his stigma of what he, like, has kind of been grown up with. So you find out that her brother has known for a long time that she likes girls. Okay. But he's been covering, he doesn't want his... He's very homophobic, her brother. Right. So he doesn't want his family to know that. He rather think it's like she loves someone from a different religion, and has been trying to cover up that way. But then so basically it kind of shows, like, this montage of her, how she grew up, and, like, how she, because it was like when the movie first started, because she does a lot of, like, journaling and, like, diary stuff. And so when the movie first started, there was, like, this whole, like, her life story about how she was like, oh, I love this, I hope my crush Gurminder loves me, or whatever, or Gurvinder, or something like that. and you think, so it kind of pans to this shot, like she has a love letter she's gonna give that person, and then it goes, she looks out the window and you see this boy and his hand is going closer to a girl's hand, and then she goes like, oh, and then she like walks away, and you're like, oh man, like you at first you think like that the person she likes is the boy,
right,
but then you find out that that person was her best friend, the girl,
right.
and she thought, because like she thought that the girl felt the same way as her, because she was always so close with her and like open with her and stuff like that, and then she finds out that that's not the case, she likes that boy, and then but she accidentally like leaves a book or one of her journals like on her desk, and it falls over, and one of her friends find it, and then they spread it to the whole school, so now everybody knows she likes girls, and like so since that age she's been like teased about it mercilessly, and like, but then she ends up becoming friends with this one boy who's gay in the school, and they're like really close friends, but her brother is like really homophobic, and he's one of the main people that like beat this boy up and stuff like that, so she's been seeing that like that her brother would never accept her, so basically like the movie kind of showcases like the stigma that still exists, and like
very much, yeah.
Basically, the whole plan after that is that this guy's like, okay, we're still going to do the play. We're going to do a love story. And what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate your family into it. And we're going to showcase it to the town. And it's going to be kind of like a teaching thing that's going to, it's going to showcase like, you know, the pain and stuff that you've been through. And hopefully people through that will like learn that, you know, it's not like a disease like some people think and stuff like that. And so he like, because like I said, her dad owns that garment factory or whatever, so he's like, hey, like they usually do a fashion show to show like the new clothes. He's like, instead of a fashion show, why don't we do a play, and all the actors and actresses can like wear your clothing and it'll sell your clothes much better. And the dad's like, yeah, sure. So he's like, so no one knows what the plot is. He's like, this is just a fresh love story. So like when they first start, he's like, okay, and then he brings like that girl. So it's, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the girl. So basically, you know how she's been sneaking to the city to see someone. So it's actually the girl that introduced her in the beginning of the
that's right.
The sister,
yeah.
So it's her. So he pretends that girl is his friend from the city. So he's saying, well, our one lover is gonna be Sunny. And our other lover is going to be my friend here. And everybody goes like, huh? Two girls? What? And then after that, he's like, guys, don't worry. Like, this is a fresh story. Like, people aren't going to be expecting this. And then so they kind of take it as like, oh, it's going to be a comedy kind of thing. Like it's going to be funny. Yes. Like, people are going to laugh. And he's like, yeah. And then they keep the brother away from it. So the brother doesn't know the storyline. So he can't be like, hey, I know what's going on. Because he knows the girl. Like, he'll recognize what's going on. And then it basically comes out, like, his brother, like, barges in because he sees which I thought was dumb. Like, why would you put their faces on the poster? Yeah. But he sees, like, the girl's face. He's like, wait a second. So then he, like, barges in. He's like, stop. Like, dare you guys do this? And they're like, no, it's a comedy. He's like, no, you didn't know this, but your daughter is, like, basically, like, outs her out. Like, he's like, no, it wasn't a Muslim boy that she's going. It was seeing her. And they all, like, go,
yeah, yes.
And it's, like, and it's just, like, this whole thing where, like, everybody turns on her, and she's like, her dad basically says like, you know, I'm disappointed in you, like you're not my daughter kind of thing. And then she kind of goes, he's like this is not happening, we're not doing this. And then she kind of, and like throughout the entire movie, like you can tell her character, she's very like, she's been withdrawn into herself because of all the experiences that she's gone through, and she kind of overcomes that, and she goes like, no, we're doing it. Like, I don't care what you say, whether you want to be in it or not, the play is going on. And this is going to happen, like, the next night. So then the play still goes on. It's a packed house. Obviously, like, her dad isn't there or whatever. Yeah. But it's a packed house. And then it, like, what happens is that, like, the story's going on, everybody's excited. And then they realize what the story is. And then people are, like, outraged. Like, there's people like what's going on? People are covering their kids' eyes. Like, what? How are you? Dare you show this? Some people get up and leave. Some people are kind of like, ooh, like, this is new. Let's see what's gonna happen. And it basically like goes through her life, like what she experienced, and like how people treat her, and like how her parents find out and this happens. And like some people you can tell people are like, there's specifically this one guy they show, this older man who's like, he was a couple rows back. And he's, like, really getting emotionally invested, and he, like, moves up as people leave the theater. He, like, comes into the first row. Or, like, it'll pan to this little girl and you can kind of see like that's something that maybe she's experiencing herself, and so like to see that there like kind of comforts her, but also she's crying, and like so by the end of it, like near the end of the show, her her dad like has this like because he goes into her room and like sees all her diaries and sees like everything that she's going through. Like she's like, I'm never gonna find love. I'll always be alone. All the things that she was kind of going through as a kid, and he's like reading through it. And I guess he guys kind of comes. This is at the end of the day, this is still my daughter, no matter who she loves. It's just love, whatever. So then he like barges into the theater, very dramatic, and he basically it's like his monologue. He's saying this specifically to his daughter, but it just looks like it's part of the play. But he's like, you know what, I'll always accept you. I'm sorry, it's just love. Like there's nothing wrong with you. All this stuff, and like he cries, hugs her. Everybody's like, woo! But it's like, yeah, it was just like very interesting for me. I know that was a very long-winded summary. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But
watch the movie.
I know. I know. Sorry.
I know, it's fine.
But like it was just. It was refreshing to see, I think, just because we don't see stories like that often, especially in Bollywood. Like, I think the last time I saw a movie about, like, a gay person was in that movie, what was it called? The one about the guys.
I do know what you're saying. Wow, I could not tell you, though, the name. It was a pretty popular movie.
Yeah.
When it came out.
It was the one with Desi Girl in it, the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah. And that was more of, it wasn't they were gay, they weren't gay. It was the fact that just because they had to like live together and pretend because of that girl they like. So it was just like it was supposed to be funny. Yeah. You know, it's not really but it was just like funny.
I was going to say the only recent, first of all, I haven't watched a lot of Tamil movies recently, so don't completely take my opinion for the truth. But the only recent movie I can think of that included like a homosexual person or part of the story was like a caricature, and it was like really offensive.
Yeah, exactly. Or like it'll be like that. They're like fashion designer, and he's like really super gay. Yes, and it's like, and then it's like the older grandma's like scared of him.
Yeah,
like, you know, yeah.
Like,
there's always like
they're wearing makeup.
Like, it's like he'll be like ah, and she'll be like ah, and it's like it's very like not necessary, and it doesn't help, but it's supposed to be just like, it's just supposed to be like a crude, like comical character, and it's just like not, it doesn't really tell the story. No. So this was really refreshing for me, and I thought like they did a really good job. They were sensitive about it. That's good. So yeah, I mean I know I told you the storyline, but like you can still watch it. Yeah. I mean there was good musical numbers too. The music was great, you know. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean it was good.
Did I tell you about the only other Tamil movie I could think of that did kind of touch on like not homosexuality, but like the stigma around like a feminine looking man.
Yeah, you did tell me.
Yeah. That's the only other one I could think of, which again didn't really speak to the sexuality part, but does speak to like the fear around someone not looking like a specific gender or like like looking a little bit more feminine is like terrifying. Yeah. And like especially with that movie because it really that guy wasn't trying to look feminine because if you remember I spoke about it I think on a previous episode where like he was just a dancer. Yeah. He was a Bharatanatyam dancer, which means you dress up and you do wear makeup. That's
part of
and you're dancing, which is in that style of dance is you usually are a woman if you're dancing in that style. So if it's part of like hundreds of years of culture. And then just nowadays, because of like the context, that it ends up making you look more masculine. Really, isn't that guy's fault? It has more to do. Like the funny part is like in the movie that they try to make it very clear. It's like everybody's so fixated on this one guy making this weird, fashion decision. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's because of those people that he just learned that dance as such a young kid because it's part of the culture. Yeah. Like I like that they had that dynamic going on. But it is nice to see, like, especially in Bollywood, with there being so many people in India, South Asia in general, of like there's people who exist in like the LGBTQ community, and they would love to be like
and then this film they really highlighted like how toxic it could be, especially through her brother, because her brother's whole idea was like, it's a disease, you're sick, and I can help you. Like I can make you I can make you better. Yeah. I can fix it. We can reverse you. Yeah. And like the way and the way you did it was like very abusive. It was very, very abusive. And like it would show like when they were younger, like much younger, and how he was like her like he would treat her like like she was the best person in the world, and then just because this small thing,
he felt like betrayed.
Yeah, and like he completely mistreats her and like stuff like that, and it was just like, and it does a good job at showing that no, like even though like this play showed a lot of people a new perspective, it doesn't mean that it resonated with everybody, because you still saw those people get up and leave and be very angry and get out and whatever. Mm-hmm. But then there was the people that actually stayed and were able to kind of see it through a new set of eyes. So,
right.
And the whole idea was that they were going to take this play to like other small towns and stuff like that and try to bring awareness. So it was an interesting film.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. Bollywood and like Tamil movies and stuff, they're starting to take a turn. Mm-hmm. Like I think with time we'll get like better, more in-depth movies and stuff with that stuff. Like more, I guess, things that tell the story a little better. Because again, I think for the most part right now it's still a lot of caricatures and like a lot of really offensive stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just a with time thing. Like I think even Hollywood right now is still getting into that, because like I find that like movies for that community, like the LGBTQ community, there's like specific movies for it, when really like it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just because, for example, like Call Me by Your Name doesn't just have to be about homosexuality and be for that community. Like I think given some time, like it doesn't have to be its own genre. It's like part of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I think that even I mean like there's just not a lot of progress happening everywhere. It's just I think a time thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're coming to the end of our episode. We've talking. That's how you know I have been talking for too long, because I start to lose my English. Thank you guys for listening to more of our ramblings about movies and music. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right, bye everybody.